Morning. It's Friday, 18th October 2024. My name is Vijay. Welcome to yet another episode of e-market commentary. What a day it was yesterday. One thought things will not be really volatile, but volatility comes when you least expect it. In fact, I was expecting volatility today because today is the third Friday of the month. Typically, 80% of the time, third Fridays of the month are bearish for the Indian market. I really don't know what the connection is, but I know on third Friday of every month, the US options market is a monthly settlement. So there will be volatility in the US markets on third Friday of the month. It is expected. But why it happens 80% of the time over the past 5 years, I've noticed. In Indian markets, I really don't have any particular reason. So what happened yesterday? Let's discuss, and I want to discuss something see much more serious, which is is this bull market in danger? So first, let's jump to what happened yesterday. So yesterday markets at close, broad-based selling. 41 out of the 50 Nifty stocks came into negative. Mid-cap index fell 2%. In fact, micro-cap index actually made an all-time yesterday, and then it fell. Then you had Bajaj Auto was the biggest culprit in the morning. Bajaj Auto came with reasonably good results, but the commentary was very poor, I would say. Bajaj Auto generally tells the truth. So they said festive demand is quite poor, not as good as they expected it to be. So that created havoc, and so markets fell across the board. Bajaj Auto lost the highest in the last 4 years. So, and then there were lower than expected quarterly results, which was basically Nestle. So I've been mentioning that one of the problems which we are going to encounter fundamentally is the attitude of the finance ministry as well as the RBI. RBI is only looking at inflation. They should also look at growth. If somebody is telling me that inflation in India is about 4% to 6%, it's a laughable proposition, especially when you go every day to buy fruits and vegetables, which I do. That is, they are focusing more on inflation. I do not know how food inflation can be controlled by RBI's interest rates. I've been asking this question again and again, but nobody has a proper answer as to how the movement in interest rates by RBI will control food inflation, which is growing of fruits, vegetables. It all depends on factors outside the control of RBI. But then nobody has got the guts to ask them on face, and that whole charade continues. In the US, it's completely different. We are following the US model, and I think we are falling flat on it. And if the growth falters further, you will have to hold only two people responsible: the finance ministry and the RBI. Finance ministry is more keen on reducing the fiscal deficit. They are not looking at growth. Both of them are not looking at growth. Growth is very important. India is a high inflation country anyway, so I do not see why we should be focused so much on inflation alone. Inflation is hurts everybody, agreed. But what are our tools? That is very important. Now, luckily, at the end of the day, government has realized, so they're bringing in potatoes, vegetables, and tomatoes. They're pushing it to the market through through various methods. So I think during the festive season, the food inflation should come down. IT stocks, especially Infosys, was very strong because they were looking at good earnings. Emphasis gained 6%, so people thought Infosys will do well. Central Bank reported very good results. The banking sector, which I'm bullish on, the most bullish on is only banking sector. Most of our stocks are focused on banking sector. But what happens after the results is also important, because finally the prices will determine our NAV of our portfolio. So therefore, the banks are coming with good results, but somehow the market is not taking it in the same manner. So Havels fell 3%. The single biggest fall in 3 years. See, again, if you miss a little bit, the fall is extremely high. Because Alcoa reported good results, Alcoa in the US. So the Nalco did very well yesterday. Kolte Patil again came up with very good results. It went up. Tata Communication fell because of poor earnings. So here is the problem. FIs and DIs, they were continuing to sell. FIs have been selling in the last 10 years, 7 years of 10 years, FIs have been selling. So I really don't worry too much on a day-to-day basis. But this month, we are seeing around 70,000 crores of selling by FIs. And I was thinking that it's tapering because till day before yesterday, it was tapering from a high of over 8,000 and odd crores slowly to around 3,000 crores. But yesterday, there was a shock with 7,400 crores selling. DIS could not match it. So therefore, you got a big gap, big sell-off. Globally, equities are doing well. Dow Jones was up through the day. Nasdaq was up through the day, but S&P and Nasdaq closed flat. And because ECB reduced interest rates by 25 basis points, all the European markets did very well. Now, coming to the highlights of the earnings, Infosys came with results. They are better than the estimates by and large, but you never know how Infosys will behave here today, especially when yesterday it has gone up here in India and it has fallen about 2% in the ADR. Wipro also fell quite a bit in the ADR. Wipro's was flat, but their guidance is reasonably good. Then this is the major bank which reported, Axis Bank. NIIs were in line. PPOP was above. PAT was above estimates, 18% growth, and advanced deposits were in line. But there is negative commentary from the analysts at CNBC, so this also may get sold off. So you kindly note that the EPS, the P ratio of Axis Bank is about 12, and they've grown 18%. So PEG is less than 1. Generally, stocks which have PEG less than 1 are supposed to be very good. Very few stocks are there PEG less than 1. Axis Bank is one of them. But I won't be surprised if there is selling coming in Axis Bank today because of the bearish sentiment. And also today is the third Friday of the month. IOB came with very good results. Again, if you look at it, profit after tax went up by 24%. Gross NPA fell by 42%. Net NPA fell by 31%. Earning per share went up by 27%. IOB did well yesterday. And then Karur Vysya Bank also came with spectacular results. Look at the profit after tax, which is up 25%. NIA up by 26% and interest income up by 19%. Karur Vysya Bank also did well in the market yesterday. So it has been, some stocks have done well, some stocks have not done well despite results. Central Bank also came up with very good results. Again, Central Bank did well yesterday. So if we had Central Bank doing well, IOB doing well, Karur Vysya Bank doing well, we do not know how Axis Bank will be treated. It's a large bank. Karur Vysya is also large, but it's not as large as Axis Bank. So we need to, and Axis Bank is also there in the Bank Nifty in a higher proportion. So we need to see how it works. And as I'm saying, that the indiscriminate selling is happening at least in the banks. I can understand in case of IT, I can understand in case of Tata Chemical, for instance, which has not reported good result. But to sell off like this, I do not know what is the reason. Hyundai Motor in India closed their IPO. In fact, it was a flop as far as the the retail book closed on only 50 basis. I mean, it did not even, it did not go into any oversubscription, did not get subscribed, only 50 basis. I mean, half of it only got subscribed. But it got saved because of the QIB, which was 6.97 times. So it got oversubscribed twice. European Central Bank, as I said, cut the basis, cut the benchmark rate. They will cut further in December. So therefore, what we are seeing yesterday was complete mayhem. The rumors that Canadian pension funds are selling because of the problem with Canada, India, and whether that is true or not. Now we are coming to something which is worrying me a lot. Now, this is the Nifty daily. And if you look at this graph, you're seeing something called the head and shoulder pattern. Now, head and shoulder pattern are very, very important patterns, reversal patterns in technical analysis. While I'm not a great technical analyst, and I put technical analysis lower in my order when I'm looking at buying or selling any share, but this worried me. And in case of Nifty, it has actually formed the right shoulder. Now, generally, if it forms like this, then there is a very high possibility of the market cracking. And if it cracks today and tomorrow, then the crack could be as high as the distance between the shoulder and the head. So if you take 24,750 as the neckline and 26,300 as the 26,250 as the top of the head, that is, it comes to about 1,500 points. So a 1,500 point fall from here should not surprise people if you go by purely by this. So this is really concerning me, because I do not take action unless the pattern is formed. Yesterday was the first time the pattern has been formed. I did not expect it, but it has happened. So now we have to be on our guard. I've been bullish on generally on the market, specifically on the bank Nifty. But if Nifty is going to fall 1,500 points, I'm not saying it will, it should, or whatever, but I'm just saying it is this pattern shows there is a possibility. We should not close our eyes, even if we are bullish. We should be very careful when we see a pattern like this. Of course, pattern can fail. If the pattern fails, then what will happen is it will go with double the speed on the top. So I would say today and Monday is very crucial for the market to show us where the direction is. Also, between now and Monday, we also have HDFC Bank results which are due tomorrow. So that may also play a role as to what the pattern will do. Sometimes there is a false breakdown and many people will go short, and that with greater power it will go up. Now you look at Bank Nifty has not yet formed the right shoulder. So that is why I put a question mark. So we don't know whether it will form a right shoulder. I can't be bearish on Bank Nifty based only on this, in anticipation that it will break the neckline, which is here at 50,251. Yesterday it is closed about 1,000 points above the neckline. So if it really breaks, then I have to really go back on what my thinking was on Bank Nifty specifically. Nifty anything can happen, but Bank Nifty is where I am banking on for the rally to go up forward. So therefore, I am concerned that some pattern has happened, which is really worrying. So if you look at what's happened on gold actually went up and crossed 3,000. It's all-time high yesterday. The USD Japanese yen, which was the main cause in August, which we saw here, now it is weakened. So carry trade has started. That is why US market is good. The dollar index has been strengthening, which is good for equity markets in some way. Oil is down, and Nikkei opened higher, but it is not doing anything. Hang Seng is, I think Hang Seng is not yet opened. It will open in the next 20 minutes. So we have to see. So all in all, it is going to be a very interesting day. It is a challenging day for the bulls. Even good results are being beaten down. But because it is traditionally the third Friday, which is not a good time for bulls, I would still wait today and tomorrow before making a decisive opinion as to where the markets will go in the future, whether the bull market is over or it is only an intermediate downtrend. We do not know, because for the first time we are in the last 3 months, we are facing this dilemma. Every other time I was very confident because the technicals did not indicate like that. Today liquidity is still high, but I don't know from where this selling has suddenly come. If it is Canadian pension funds and Canadian funds which are selling, then we have to contend with a huge amount of volatility, because Canada, I think, is the 5th largest FII investment country into India. So that is something significant. So whatever, I'll be very cautious today. In fact, I would not like to do any trades today, because you see the volatility could be very severe. But and I don't want to short at this point of time, anticipating that the market will crack that neckline. I will wait and watch. There is no harm in waiting and watching for a couple of days' time. So today will be almost a no trade day for us. So whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.